Start bringing out the holy water. Back, back, back. Hello, frog fans. Alrighty then. Time to paint some big babies. Because I've got two big babies on the go right now. And their lairs take an incredibly long time to do. Each layer on a doll this size probably, depends on what kind of layer you're doing, it probably takes about half an hour, maybe even to an hour. Creasing on this doll might take an hour for me. I'm just really anal about, like, detail and making sure that I don't miss anything that might make the doll look funky later. Because I've had that before where I do something, miss that I've, kind of messed something up, left too much paint in a certain spot, and I'll discover it later, and it's like, ugh. This is a layer that I call rose mottling. It's like a very deep, like magenta, purple, reddish layer. And it looks insane right now, but by the time I put all the layers that are to come over this, it's going to come out as a real nice color later. You don't want your mottling to disappear, you want it to still be visible later, but at the same time you can do mottling too dark. I've been watching this show on Netflix that's about a pandemic of this awful disease. And, like, there's a scene where there's a bunch of people in public, and some guy starts coughing, and everybody starts going ballistic, like, he has it! He has the sickness! And then, all of a sudden, someone runs up to the guy and knifes him, and he ends up dying there. And then later, one of the characters that's part of, like, the main cast goes over and realizes that the guy wasn't actually infected with the deadly virus. He just happened to have a cough or had some sort of had something stuck in his throat or had some sort of condition that causes him to cough often. And I'm like, okay, this is too close to home, we're gonna stop watching this. And then I kept watching it, but don't put it down on the mat, you dum-dum, you're gonna end up getting paint all over it. These big limbs do not like to sit right. Okay, stay there and be a good arm. Be a good arm. Be a good army arm. Like, that show is very different to the pandemic that we're currently experiencing, because the virus in that show, because it's like, this, it's fiction, it's not real, it's not based on a real virus or anything. It, like with COVID, I'm not saying that no one has died from it, because people have died from it, but the virus in this show, it's like, if you get it, you're like 100% a goner. So, that's not a worry with COVID. Not that, we shouldn't be cautious or anything, because people have died from it, but it'd be a lot worse if it were that virus where it's like, okay, you got it, you're dead, bye. See ya. But, like, what happened in that show, that's, like, one of my fears with the pandemic and everything, with, they're saying that the second wave is starting, and people kind of went crazy last year when it first started to get serious, and, like, my fear from stuff like this happening isn't the pandemic, isn't the virus itself. My fear is the people that are going insane, and, like these people that have overreactions, like someone gives a small cough and they're like, COVID! Start bringing out the holy water. Back! 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 And yeah, like, if someone has a cough, you do have to be more cautious around them, but, like, they're still people. That's probably, like, in my opinion, the worst thing that could happen is people become so afraid of the virus that they stop treating other people like people. Especially if they might be sick. Like, the sick are still people and still deserve to, like, they still deserve to be taken care of and to have basic necessities and everything. And I don't think, like, the real world would ever really get to that level, but, like, it's still a fear. And all these, disease, pandemic shows and movies, it's kind of like, well, you're infected, sorry, Charlie, you no longer have basic human rights. I'm probably the only person my age that knows what sorry, Charlie means. Or where the phrase sorry, Charlie came from. There was a tuna fish commercial. probably the only person my age who knows who Alf is. Anybody else know who Alf is? Alien that lived with a family. He was always trying to eat their cat. I don't even know what decade that show is from. It was pretty old. There we go. Find a different place for that one, because now that it's wet, it can't be touching other things. Steak, no. Would you listen? It doesn't like to listen. Probably because it doesn't have a brain. It's an inanimate object. Excuse me. Started on the face with the lighter color. neutralizing green layer now for this one. I don't know why, don't know exactly the science behind it, but the one time I used this green neutralizing wash on a doll that was getting near finished, but it was a little bit too red, and it took the skin tone down nice. And this doll I don't think is too red, but after that doll that was too red, I started to try it out on other dolls, and something about it just gives it a nice look. So just a very, very light translucent, cannot talk, ever. Very light translucent green layer. Don't know why, but I like it. This doll, she's a Claire by Ann Timmerman. She's been brain, mouth, tongue, work. No! A lot of her progress has been on the channel. And she's getting close to being finished, and she will be for sale when I'm finished her. Originally, when I got the kit was a Christmas gift for me, and originally I was going to paint her to keep, but then I decided to get a different kit instead. And it was my grandma. Ooh, yikes. We were getting dark paint splotches all over today. It was a gift from my grandma, and I asked if she would be okay if I painted the kit to sell instead. And she said that it was absolutely fine. She didn't care what I did with it. She bought it for me so I could paint it, and it didn't matter to her what happened to the doll after that. So I think I had the Claire kit for it. Yeah, it was over a year that I had the kit before I started actually painting her. Which probably isn't that unusual for some artists, and I know like some reborn artists, usually more established artists, will buy like kits and kits and kits and, you know, take big advantage of sales and just, you know, stockpile the kits and pull one out whenever they need one. But I'm not that established yet, and I like to not have that many kits. I like to, you know, like, when I notice that I'm about to finish all my dolls, I order another kit so it can be there and ready to go when I'm finished the other one. Alright, well, I am all onesied up because I just had a shower and it's freezing in here because we don't have a furnace because it broke and we need to wait for a part to come from Europe. So, yeah, it's cold. There's Luna. other babies. There's the for sale baby that people keep saying I'll buy him, and then last second it's like they disappear, and it's like, where'd you go? He's sad. Nobody wants him. What? Alright, well, anyways, that's all for now, Frog fans. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful week, and we shall see you tomorrow. Say bye, Bun Bun. Say bye, Bun Bun. So cute.